like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Ooh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Podcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And of course, for a second week in a row, there is no San Diego Comic-Con exclusive reveals. But it's all right because we got a decent selection of Funko Pops to talk about this week. Of course, we're going to kick off with the usual segments of Quentine Quarantino and Pandem News. We are also going to reveal the podcast schedule for the month of July because there are going to be 5 Fridays in July. So that means 5 podcasts in July. But of course, one of the main segments for this podcast today is our top 10 Funko Pop list for the month of June 2020. But other than that, we're going to kick off, like usual, with the Quentine Quarantino segment, which, like I always mention, if you're new to the podcast, this segment is basically us talking about what movies we've watched, TV shows we've seen, whether it's DVD, VHS, even though no one uses VHS anymore, Netflix, Hulu. I don't know why I said Hulu before Disney Plus. That just randomly came up the top of my head. But anywhere where you watch movies and TV shows, video games you played on whatever system it is, and basically anything else during this quarantine. So, MD, what have you done last week?
So, honestly, I don't think anything has really changed from the last time we spoke about this. I'm still just playing Pokemon Go every day, golfing about every other day, and still just watching Fuller House on Netflix. So, not a whole lot has changed. But the one thing that is changing is tomorrow I will be going to work.
Ooh.
It's not like it's set in stone, like I'm back to work, but there's just some things that we have to do there. So we're kind of all getting together and spending a day at work to kind of sharpen up the restaurant before we finally decide to open back up.
Ah, all right. So for myself, there also hasn't really been much going on. If anything, it's been like channel related things because this past weekend, we did record what will be next week's Back to the Future podcast, which I already have part of that edited. And we also recorded this past Sunday the NBA Draft Funko Pop edition, which if you guys haven't seen that yet, I'll put a little suggestion thingy above for that. That was, as we're recording this right now, today's video, but obviously that would have been Wednesday's video for you guys listening to this. As terms to movies, the only movie I actually got to watch this past week was Toy Story 3, because Thursday was the 10th anniversary of when Toy Story 3 got released in theaters. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this on its 10th anniversary. So I did that, in which I guess another little suggestion thingy above that I will put is last week's video, last Wednesday's more specifically, the top 5 Toy Story 3 Funko Pops list. Check that out. And as terms to TV shows, it has been just Clone Wars. I finished season 4. Talk about that season 4 finale because Darth Maul appears. Darth Maul appears with Savage. That was his name. The yellow Darth Maul. I forgot his name. And then, like, it took me a bit to finish season 5 because, like, I'd been watching so much Clone Wars that, like, there's that time when you watch so much of a TV show and you're just like, God, I can't just watch so many of these episodes anymore. Because I would go through, like, half a season a day at least. And then just, like, at least 3 days ago, I was only able to watch 2 episodes because I was like, damn, I'm watching too much Clone Wars. I need a break. So I took a little bit of a break. But then I finished season 5 finally, I think 2 nights ago. And then while watching it, I was expecting that there'd be 22 episodes like there is usual, but there was only 20 in season 5. And so I was into season 6 and I'm like, wait, I'm already on season 6 after like looking on my screen. It's like continue the next episode. And it was like season 6, episode 2. And I'm like, all right, I guess I might as well try and watch season 6. So I actually last night ended up watching the whole entire season 6 of the Clone Wars. It's getting very intense because they are starting to talk about events that happened in Revenge of the Sith, more specifically Order 66. I can't wait to finish the Clone Wars because I know season 7 is the last season. So that's going to be very intense. And then other than that, I guess would be the chapter 5 of The Undertaker's Last Ride documentary, which basically, I guess, hopefully this is like for sure now that by the quote that he said of, I guess this is really when the cowboy rides off, as terms to, I think he's officially confirmed his retirement from wrestling. I guess, even though we didn't get an actual last match from Undertaker in a ring in front of 80,000 people, that Boneyard with AJ Styles being his last match, I can accept that. Great documentary. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to the Pandem News segment, which, of course, those brand new to the channel, Pandem News is a segment where we talk about the latest news involving the current pandemic going on, which if you don't want to listen to this segment, go to the description below. We have a timestamp that shows where every segment happens, so you can click on to the next one if you wish. So starting off with Wednesday, June 17th, 8.4 million cases confirmed worldwide, and more than 60% of commercial flights to and from Beijing have been canceled after the new outbreak. Thursday, June 18th, 8.5 million cases confirmed worldwide. UK surpasses 300,000 cases. Chile surpasses 200,000 cases. Bangladesh surpasses 100,000 cases. And Canada surpasses 100,000 cases. Friday, June 19th, 8.7 million cases confirmed worldwide. Brazil surpasses 1 million cases, Iran surpasses 200,000 cases, and Toronto Maple Leafs player Austin Matthews was tested positive for COVID-19. Saturday, June 20th, 8.9 million cases confirmed worldwide. The US surpasses 2.3 million cases, and India surpasses 400,000 cases. Sunday, June 21st, 9 million cases confirmed worldwide, and Spain ends the state of emergency after 3 months of lockdown. Monday, June 22nd, 9.1 million cases confirmed worldwide. Brazil surpasses 1.1 million cases, and South Africa surpasses 100,000 cases. And Tuesday, June 23rd, 9.3 million cases confirmed worldwide, and the US surpasses 2.4 million cases. All right, so now we're going to move on to the Funko Pop announcements for this past week. Obviously, Funko Pop announcements for this week started on Thursday, June 18th, which will kick off with a pop for The Last of Us Part 2, which is a video game that actually came out last week, in which we have Ellie. This is available now for pre-order, but is expected to release as early as August 2020. Amazon had announced their own exclusive, but later it was also announced by Funko of a Mickey Mouse 5-pack, which in this 5-pack, it includes Plain Crazy Mickey, Classic Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey, Beanstalk Mickey, and Mickey Mouse. That is available for pre-order now and is expected to release as early as August 2020 also. Then on the same day, on June 18th, Pop Culture announced an exclusive pop of Mr. Sinister for the X-Men lineup, in which we don't exactly know what it's supposed to be exclusive to, because originally it was rumored to be Hot Topic, and then when they actually revealed the glam shot for this on the Funko app, it says Hot Topic on the sticker of the glam shot, but in the description where it says where it's exclusive to is Walmart. So it's unknown whether it's going to be Hot Topic or Walmart exclusive, but through Pop Culture's website internationally, except for Canada and the US, it is available now, but it's expected to release at either Hot Topic or Walmart, I would assume within the next month or two. Then on June 20th, on Saturday, Funko had basically officially confirmed the Blacklight Funko Pops for the Marvel lineup, but they added a new pop to it, which is a Spider-Man Blacklight pop that's involved in a Pop and Tea bundle, which that released along with the rest of the Blacklight Marvel pops on June 21st, which was Father's Day. June 22nd, Funko had announced a Funko Shop drop for the Pop Myths lineup of Pegasus, which this was released obviously on June 22nd at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST on the Funko Shop, and it took like a day, but it sold out on the Funko Shop. Or wait, no, it was one of those Funko Shop drops that sold out in like 5 minutes, now as I remember. Then announced on the same day on the 22nd, Funko had announced a free comic book summer collector's box, which will include a pop of a like comic book version of Loki, and the box will include 3 different shirts, like one of 3 different shirts that will be in the box, and 3 different comic book covers that you could get, but I will go into more description about what else is in the box as we get to it. This is a previews exclusive, and this should be available at local comic book stores and retailers as early as July 15th, considering that free comic book summer starts July 15th and ends September 9th. Then on June 23rd, Funko had announced an 18-inch variant of a dancing Groot, which this is available now to pre-order at retailers such as Amazon, Entertainment Earth, Pop in a Box, and this is expected to release as early as September 2020. Also released that same day, Hot Topic had announced a flocked Buckbeak with black eyes, and this has sold out on their website, and I will once again explain why as we get to the pop more descriptively. And last but not least, the last Funko Pop we're talking about for this week, the Funko Shop drop on June 24th for the Pop Around the World lineup. It is Pura, I don't know if I'm or Puria, I don't know, but it's an elephant from India, and this is obviously available as of today as we record this on the Funko Shop starting at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST. So starting off with the Last of Us pop. So I like this pop. I mean, it's got quite a bit of detail for such a simplistic, I guess I would say human pop, but it's from a video game, so I guess an animated human character. I like the blood that's going down Ellie's face and the freckles that they added. She's got the dagger, which is nice. Overall, it's not a bad looking pop, and I know a lot of retailers, especially I think EB Games here in Canada, did sell out of this pop, so you can't even order it online on their website. The 5-pack Mickey Mouse. This looks pretty cool, actually. I like the 5 different Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mice. I never know whether I should say Mickey Mouse or Mickey Mice because it is more than one mouse. But I think you could get away with saying Mickey Mouses because Mickey Mouse is the name.
Yes.
So I'm going to say the 5 Mickey Mouses. Obviously, the one is black and white. That looks neat. And I do like how they added Sorcerer Mickey Mouse because that is a really cool variant of Mickey Mouse. And I do like the platform that it's on, too. It's got the Walt Disney Archives preserving the magic on the base. And I think this would be a really cool piece, both out of box and in box, just for the fact of when you look at the box, you actually have like the pop heads and you have like the 50th anniversary logo of something. I don't think it's 50th anniversary of Mickey Mouse specifically because we already had what was like, I think it was like 80th anniversary of Mickey Mouse
90th.
or 90th. Yeah, exactly. 90th anniversary lineup just last year in 2019. So it's the 50th anniversary of something. Like I said,
I think, sorry to cut you off, I think maybe it's when they started to like vault some of their movies and such.
okay, that makes sense. Using the word archive, so you like, yeah, you'd vault some older movies. That does make sense. I really like it. Now I'm realizing maybe the reason why all of them have like a pencil is because it's mostly like, let's say, the Plane Crazy is the first one that's made, and then it's drawing the next evolution of Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse, and it keeps doing that up until the current looking Mickey Mouse. Now I understand this, and this looks more cool than I had imagined it previously. Mr. Sinister. So I don't know nothing about Mr. Sinister, but the way that Mr. Sinister looks is really cool. I like the red eyes with kind of like the black around it. And I'm going to have to do a little more research about Mr. Sinister to know exactly what Mr. Sinister does. I like the way the blue is, especially part of it is more like a metallic color. And then you got like a normal, like lighter vinyl color of blue, which that is really nice. Then we got the Pop and Tea bundle for Spider-Man, the Blacklight Spider-Man. I think the way the Spider-Man pop looks is really nice. I like the way that they mesh the pink color with the purple and the way that they use the black and the blue. That's really nice. And then how they have yellow eyes with this works out really well. My only gripe about this is the t-shirt, because if you see the t-shirt, which obviously if anyone who's viewing this right now, you won't be able to see the full-on Pop and Tea bundle when you're looking at this. The t-shirt I don't like because I don't know what it is with Funko and thinking it'd be cool to have a tiny logo on the front and then what should be the logo on the front on the back. I'm not a fan of when they do that. It really bugs me. But the box looks really nice. It's got pieces of like Spider-Man in comic book form. I just absolutely love the box and the pop, but I'm not a fan of the t-shirt. Pegasus. I think this probably, at least in my own personal opinion, like the coolest pop myths that Funko's made so far. I think this looks really cool. It's got that mix of it looks badass with, I guess I'm going to use this word, which I never use this word, is cute. Because I find that when I say cute about Funko Pops, it's like when people get annoyed when people say the word moist. It's like that kind of feeling for me when it's like that. It's like, ugh. It's just like, I don't like to hear that word. This kind of reminds me of when I look at this, if you remember watching certain movies, I don't know exactly what specific movies it was, but if you remember, you would see like whenever like it'll show the production company, like that one where you see a Pegasus like kind of go flying into like the middle of your screen.
Yeah.
I feel like for some reason though, like now as I think about it, I think Labyrinth was one of those movies that had that. But this looks really cool. I kind of wish that this was like standing up, but it still looks cool the way it is, honestly. So much detail. And I actually seen an out of box version of this today, which I'm like, yes, this looks really nice. And I can understand now why this sold out. And I forgot to mention also, this is a 6-inch pop. The low key pop, the low key pop looks all right. I mean, it's got quite a bit of detail, like the hair flowing and the attire that Loki usually has, and he's holding the Jolnir, Thor's hammer, which is really cool. What I do want to mention, so obviously you have a 1 in 3 chance of the different shirts in the comic books, which they all have different rarities. Obviously, if you got, let's say you're doing a YouTube video and you get 6 of these boxes, you're obviously going to get the same pop, but you're mostly getting it to see if you get the comic book and the t-shirt, which I'm pretty sure, and it's like lined up specifically for that rarity, where the first Thor cover where it says Thor and you got Loki right there is a 65% chance of getting that, if I'm not mistaken. The middle lineup where it's no logo, that is a 25% chance that you can get that. And then the low-key Thor cover book that's got the purple in the background and in the t-shirt below it, I think is a 10% chance that you can get. And one thing also, I can't exactly remember what it's for, but they give you some sort of golden ticket. No, it's not to go to the chocolate factory, but it's something else that the golden ticket gives you. Like, I think it's maybe like it gives you a silhouette, if I'm not mistaken, of like what the next previews exclusive pops are. But also a little known fact, out of all these boxes, so let's say there's like, I don't know, 30,000 made, 12 of the pops will be signed by Funko CEO Brian Mariotti.
Damn.
So that's pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't plan on getting this box. The 18-inch Groot, I think this looks really cool, honestly. Just the way that Groot looks. He's all happy and everything. I do love the base that goes on, because you got like the pot that the Groot is in, but then there's also a little base below it and it says I am Groot. That looks wicked. If I'm not mistaken, this is the fourth 18-inch pop that has been confirmed, because there was the original 18-inch Batman. There was the 18-inch Funko Shop exclusive Batman from the 60s. Then there was the 18-inch Harry Potter with Hedwig. And then now there is this one. Like I said, it looks really nice. And I don't plan on getting this because so far the 18-inch pops, like none really scream out to me that I would actually want to buy. But I'm pretty sure like a lot of people have ordered these off of Entertainment Earth already and all that. So I don't blame them. The flocked Buckbeak with the black eyes. Now, people might remember the one with the orange eyes, but that's because the original version was supposed to be this one, but somewhere along the lines, you know, Funko, their factories messed up. And so the orange eyes weren't supposed to happen. And with this pop, and why it sold out, is because they only made 3,000 of the black-eyed versions because they messed up and made the orange eyes version. This looks way better than the orange-eyed ones, because the orange-eyed one just looks so weird. And like I'm pretty sure I said when we talked about the orange-eyed Buckbeak, I don't know, the red eyes look so weird and it just doesn't seem like Buckbeak, because I'm pretty sure Buckbeak is the bird that Hagrid uses for like that one class during one of the Harry Potter movies. So I feel like it's not like an evil bird. Having the black eyes makes it seem more like it's a protagonist bird, I guess I would say. And the colors that are used in this look really nice. And kudos to those who grabbed this pop, because this is a really cool pop. And I will say probably that this is the best Harry Potter pop so far of 2020. And then we got Priya. This pop looks pretty cool with the amount of detail. The elephant looks really cool. That does represent India, because whenever I pretty much think of India, I think of like, you know, the elephants walking around and everything. If there was any bad hype that went towards this pop, it's because throughout the month of June, a lot of bad hype towards pops were either because if it's a Funko Shop exclusive, they wanted that Dwight with doll pop. If it was a non Funko Shop post or even a Funko Shop post, people just keep hammering Funko, just saying, where's San Diego Comic-Con exclusives? Where's San Diego Comic-Con exclusives? We all want those San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So hopefully very soon we're going to get those San Diego Comic-Con exclusive announcements.
So I'll start off with Elle. Is it Elle or is it Ellie from The Last of Us?
It's Ellie.
Ellie? Okay. This is really cool. I'm glad that they made this. The Last of Us has been a huge game for as long as I can remember when the first one came out. And now the second one's out, and there's a lot of hype over this game right now. So putting this pop out right now is a good idea, and I think it does look really good. Like you said, it's like a human pop that has a lot of detail. You have the freckles, you have the blood on the face, you have kind of the little slit in the eyebrow, you have the blood on the clothes. The pose looks really good. The clothes look really nice, and of course that like knife or dagger in the hand. So yeah, this is like one of the best human pops that we've seen in quite some time. Then moving on to the 5-pack, the Amazon exclusive Mickey Mouse is, I guess. This is amazing. I love this beyond belief. The one thing that I do wish is that maybe instead of plain Crazy Mickey, we had Steamboat Willie, because I feel like that's just the first Mickey Mouse. I could be wrong. It could be
Yeah,
plain
I
Crazy
think a
Mickey,
lot of
but
people commented that exactly. Like they thought that they should have had Steamboat Willie in this 5-pack.
yeah, it makes more sense to me. Like, even if they did like plain Crazy Mickey and then instead of having that classic Mickey there, it was Steamboat Willie, because I feel like there's not a whole lot of difference between the classic Mickey and then just the Mickey Mouse at the end. So yeah, that would make this pop like 10 out of 10, like up for grabs for the best pop of 2020 if it did have Steamboat Willie in it. But other than that, like, yeah, this looks really cool, and I hope I can get my hands on this, and I will definitely be displaying it out of box because I think that stand looks so cool with it. Then the Mr. Sinister from the X-Men lineup. I don't know what it is about this pop, but for some reason, this pop looks like a pop from, let's say, like 2012 or 2013. That's like one of those really, really good looking pops from back then that's really expensive. But since it's coming out now, it's kind of just mediocre in my opinion. It doesn't look amazing. I don't know if it's just the way the colors are or something. Then the Pegasus. So to answer your question, the movie production company that you're thinking of is TriStar.
Aha, yeah, that's it. TriStar.
I believe you're correct about, yeah, they did do the Labyrinth. This does look really good, but it's not really groundbreaking to me because we've already seen a Pegasus with the Hercules lineup. I believe there's two. There's the baby Pegasus, and then you also have like the Pop Rides Hercules on Pegasus, I believe. It's not amazing by any means to me, but because of what you said about TriStar, is it would be really cool if Funko started making pops of movie production companies. You can get the Pegasus with the TriStar, and then also the one with the lion that like sticks his head through the window there.
Ooh, isn't that just simply like, oh, I want to say Warner Brothers, but I don't think it's Warner Brothers.
No, it's not Warner Brothers. It's like
It's
Golden something, I think. I can't remember exactly.
unanswered
But
questions.
yeah, exactly. It would be really cool if we could get some of those logos from movie production companies, because obviously there's a lot of different ones. You also have the one with the lady who kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty kind of pose. There's so many cool ones that we could see as pops, and I could see that being something that Funko would want to do.
Let's get Pixar Lamp. Long overdue.
Yes. Moving on to the Loki free comic book summer box. One thing that's so weird about this is that they're calling it free comic book summer. I guess free comic book day is no longer a thing, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to do this for a whole summer now, which is actually kind of a good idea.
Yeah,
But
originally, sorry to cut you off there.
yeah, no problem.
Obviously, you can see in the logo that it's scratched out where it's supposed to be Free Comic Book Day, but obviously, because of the pandemic, Free Comic Book Day couldn't happen. So people, obviously now, they're probably just going to extend like a Free Comic Book Summer instead of having Free Comic Book Day scheduled on like some sort of different day.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, and it's a great idea. So to talk about the pop, I think this Loki pop actually looks really cool. It's one of my favorite Loki pops because honestly, I don't really like a lot of the Loki pops. I think they're just, I don't want to use the word again, but I guess just mediocre. They're not amazing. But this one, I think, would probably be my favorite Loki pop. The t-shirts are really cool as well. I think I like the middle t-shirt the best, the white t-shirt there, and then I think I like the purple cover variant of the comic book. What a cool idea to have Brian Mariotti sign 12 of these. Like, I couldn't imagine opening up a box and seeing that. You'd feel like you just won the lottery almost. Then the 18-inch supersized Groot. This is a really cool pop. I like the idea of having this pop 18-inch, but I feel like it would be a little bit too big. That's what she said. I feel like Groot, when he was dancing, like when he was in the pot planter, I guess, he just wasn't that big. I feel like this is going to be like, obviously it's 18-inch, so it's a huge pop. So I feel like it's just a little too oversized. But besides that, there is a lot of detail there. I like how it says I am Groot on the base, and the pop itself looks really, really nice as well. The flocked Buckbeak, I was thinking before we started this, I was like, wait, haven't we seen a flocked Buckbeak before? And then you started talking about the orange eyes, and I was like, oh, yes, of course. So this is a good idea. And I guess it's an all right idea that they only made 3,000, I believe is what you said. Obviously, it's better than the orange one, but to make 3,000 of them, it's the smart decision by Funko, honestly. Then the Pop Around the World India Pop. This is really cool. I like this one. It really does sum up what you think about when you think of India in a really nice way, and I do like the elephant itself. All these Pop Around the World pops have been really, really good and such a great idea by Funko. Then, last but not least, we have the Neon Spider Man. This is so cool. I love this pop, and it's also very cool that it was announced on Father's Day because my dad is the biggest fan of Spider Man that I know, even as much to have it tattooed on his body forever. And the t shirt, I do agree normally with you how I don't like having the big logo on the back and then just keeping the back plain and having it on the front, but I think it really works with this t-shirt. I really like the small little Funko head Spider-Man on there, kind of with the Spidey senses going around it, and just having that pink on just a plain black t-shirt like that looks really, really cool. So I'm okay with having the big logo on the back. I really, really want this box.
All right, guys. So before we begin our top 10 Funko Pops of June 2020 list, I'm going to be talking about the schedule that's going to happen for the podcast for the month of July, since we do have 5 podcasts happening in July. So let's begin. Next week on July 3rd will be our podcast titled Great Scott, the Back to the Future podcast, our latest fandom related podcast where we will talk about all 3 movies as voted by you guys on Instagram. Of course, we will also talk about the Funko Pops that go with the movie, including the new 35th anniversary lineup of Back to the Future Pops. And we will also discuss during that what Back to the Future Pops we want to see made in the future. The week after, on July 10th, we will talk about the last bit of June 2020 Funko Pop announcements. We will have our segment, The Update, to kind of update our top 10 list from what would be today. And then we will talk about the first part of July 2020 Funko Pop announcements. July 17th, the week after, will be our next podcast that has special guests, in which it will be the second time we are doing this, in which our guests are none other than Kevin and Mark, aka K-Dog and Fish. For those that might not know, K-Dog and Fish, they are a Funko retailer. So we are really excited for this podcast. We get to talk about somewhat of the ins and outs of running a Funko business. We talk about what it's like working with Funko and kind of their interests and all that. So get excited for July 17th because that is the K-Dog and Fish podcast. Following week on July 24th, that would just simply be a week of when we will be talking about whatever week's Funko Pop announcements are. Actually, it'll be the last couple of weeks because the week prior is obviously the K-Dog and Fish podcast, so we won't talk about whatever Funko Pop announcements happen during that week. But we are also going to talk about the future of fandom-related podcasts, plus at that podcast, we will be announcing the next fandom-related podcast, what it's going to be on, and when it's happening. And the last podcast of July, which actually happens July 31st, will be the top 10 Funko Pops of July 2020. I can't wait to see what the July Funko Pops are for the month, especially, hopefully, it's got to happen then of when we get San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So obviously, there's probably going to be a few that are bound to make our top 10 list. All right, so now it's time for the top 10 Funko Pops of June 2020, which, of course, as usual, we are going to miss a couple of days worth of Funko Pop announcements for June. Let's kick off our top 10 list at number 10 with MD Shady's top 10 list. So what's your number 10?
My number 10 is the Hot Topic exclusive Rock Lee from Naruto. I think that pop looks really good. It's a very, very solid pop, and the pose itself looks amazing. And I know that a lot of Naruto fans are just screaming for more Naruto pops almost. And it's a great pop, and I think it's well deserved.
All right, coming at number 10 on my list is the previews exclusive Low Key. Now, I was super hesitant on whether I was going to put this pop at number 10 or a pop that I know I'm going to end up buying in the Diamond Collection, Alien. But I find that obviously there's a bit more hype for the Alien, but the detail is more towards Loki because, like I just said, there you can see the detail. And I think a lot of people do plan on getting this pop because of the rarities of the t-shirts and the comics and for that chance to get that signed Funko Pop by Brian Mariotti. So a little bit of the overall hype does go over on this pop rather than the Alien. That's basically why it's at number 10. There's not really much personal reaction on my end towards this pop.
My number 9 is Jimmy Garoppolo from the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason for this is because I think that with this new NFL pop, they have just become so much better than they were. They look great with the new poses, and then you have those little grass bases which just brings these pops full circle, like completely brings them together. Where I don't think NFL pops could get any better than they are now. And I really hope that this happens for hockey and other sports as well, where we kind of get a cool little base and some new poses that are nice and refreshing.
All right, my number 9 is the Walmart exclusive Mr. Sinister. I think that my own personal reaction is pretty decent on this because of the amount of detail that is in this pop. I think there's also a decent amount of hype because it's one of those pops where it's a newer character. It's not like a repeat, let's say, in the X-Men lineup of a Wolverine.
I don't know what the exact name of this pop is, but I know that you guys, and of course UDK, will understand what I'm talking about. My number 8 is the Artist Series Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, that's the exact title.
Well, look at me go. I know a little something or something about Funko, I guess, eh? Yeah, I love this pop. I think it's my favorite artist series so far, and I am collecting the Looney Tunes pops, so this is one that I will probably end up buying eventually at a con or something. I think it just looks so cool, the colorway that they went with, and how there's like the carrots on it. It looks really, really awesome in my opinion.
My number 8, it's actually got an 8 in the title, and that is the 18-inch Dancing Groot. First of all, it is low on the list because it is an 18-inch pop, but I do think that the details on this pop look wicked. There's clearly some sort of hype behind it because it's Groot. Groot is one of those characters that like they make an abundance of pops of and no one really complains because it's Groot. There also is a little bit of the bad hype that I did forget to mention is the fact that for sure it's an 18 inch, so it's going to cost 100 US. So in Canadian, that's going to be 140. So it is going to be a little pricey. That's why it's at number 8.
Number 7 for me is the Hot Topic exclusive Diamond Collection Alien from Toy Story. I didn't think I was going to like this pop at all because I'm not normally a huge fan of Diamond Collection, but I think they pulled it off very, very well. So I did think it deserved some kind of spot on my list for the month.
My number 7 is the AAA anime exclusive END. I'm not going to attempt to try and say that full name again. I'm just going to say END. It's got quite a bit of detail. I basically explained how crazy the detail is from last week's podcast. My personal reaction was there because of the detail, and there is obviously a great amount of hype because it's for a different anime that isn't your usual abundance of My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Z.
Number 6 is a pop that I'm hoping I can get because I believe you said it's like sold out online. Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. I would assume that there's a lot of really, really good hype going on with this pop, and it was done really, really well and announced at a perfect time. So really, it doesn't get any better than that.
My number 6 is the Hot Topic exclusive Buckbeak with Black Eyes. I think this looks great and definitely better than the one with the orange eyes. The way the flocking looks is really nice, and obviously there had to have been a tremendous amount of hype considering that, one, it was 3,000 pieces, and the fact that it's Harry Potter. Harry Potter is one of Funko's top licensors that Funko sells the most of when it comes to Funko Pops. So there's that to it also. So let's kick the music. You know what time it is. Booker T's theme song. Let's go. Do da 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 da. Can you dig it? Sucker! Boom. Fire explosion. Pop of the night. Let's get to MD Shady's number 5. We're in the top 5, people.
At the beginning of the month, I did not think that this pop would be on my top 10 list, but is the Funko Shop exclusive Cloudmobile from the Care Bears. I don't remember what Care Bears on it, but it's the Cloudmobile. The more I look at it, the more I appreciate it. We thought we were done with Care Bears for Funko, and we get some more, which is really, really cool. And the Cloudmobile, like, I never would have thought of that as a Funko Pop, so it's just very, very shocking.
My number 5, and I honestly thought you were actually going to choose the same one that I have for number 5, because mine is also a Funko Shop exclusive, but it's not Share Bear. It is the 10-inch Disco Skeletor. I think that this, by far, in my opinion, is the best Masters of the Universe Funko Pop. I think the colors look really nice. The hype was mixed, but there was a lot of good hype, though, and the personal reaction was up because I feel that this was a really nice pop, and it definitely deserved to be in the top 5 portion of my top 10 list.
Moving on to number 4, I'm going to keep the same theme of 10-inch pops, and that is the 10-inch Mando. It's awesome. This pop looks so cool. And of course, it's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal, like we like to call it, where he's holding the child. I think it'll look really cool because you're getting basically like a full-scale child figure with this 10-inch Mando. Hopefully, it does have that kind of chrome on the helmet.
That's on to number 4 for myself, and that is the Target exclusive Black Light Spider-Man pop. Like I just said a bit ago, this looks pretty cool for what it is. The way that the colors look, that's nice. My personal reaction was clearly up on this because this is definitely the best black light pop, at least in my opinion.
Moving on to number 3 is the Black Light Thor. When the first, I guess we'll call it first wave of these black light pops came out, this Thor really stood out to me, like a Thor thumb, as Mike Tyson would call it. It looks better than the other ones, in my opinion, and it's just the colorway looks so nice. I love all of these blacklight pops. It was definitely the best out of those 4, and I really thought it deserved to be very high on my list, so it made it to number 3.
So my number 3 is the Funko Shop exclusive 6-inch Pegasus. I think this looks really nice. The detail on it is so cool with like the wings and even like the hair that's on it, and especially with the different colors involved with it. It's got that factor of it looks badass, but it looks, once again, I hate using those words with Funko Pops, but cute. Of course, it sold out in like 5 minutes, so there's definitely some hype towards that. And my personal reaction, because of the whole TriStar thing, it's awesome. I think my only gripe that could make it go higher is if it stood up and the wings like kind of spread out.
All right, moving on to number 2, and it is the Blacklight Spider-Man. This one is just awesome. I'm obviously a huge Spider-Man mark, mostly because of my dad, because he's a huge Spider-Man fan. I think the colors look really great on this. The pink and the purple together look so great, and then the black and the blue kind of bringing it back to the classic Spider-Man look while having all this neon blacklight colors going on. Just looks really, really good. And I do think that the eyes look really good, and I think they picked the best color and best shade of yellow that they could.
My number 2 is the 10-inch Mandalorian with the child. I think that even though 10-inch pops aren't really, I guess, my cup of tea, I would have to say that a lot of detail that you might not be able to see on a normal 3.75-inch pop will be brought up with this 10-inch pop, and especially the fact that it includes the child, and let's say it's not like the same mold as the other 2 Mandalorian pops previously with like the rifle with them. That probably would have made it a little bit lower on the list. What's your number 1, MD? I'm a little curious. We might actually have the same number 1.
I was just going to say I would probably put money on us having the same number 1. Number 1 is the 10-inch Vulpix.
No, it's not.
You're right, it's not. Number one is the Amazon exclusive Mickey Mouse 5-pack. It looks amazing. There's nothing else I can say. I really, really want this in my collection because I don't really collect Mickey Mouse Pops. I do have one. I think I really need this 5-pack.
My number one, the Amazon exclusive Mickey Mouse 5-pack. I think realistically, the only gripe is that it should have Steamboat Willie. This is one that is super hyped. And of course, the detail with the stand, also cool. It looks good both in box and out of box, but probably better out of box. And the personal reaction is just like, wow, this is really cool. That's why it made it to number one on the June 2020 Funko Pop list. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you smash that like button to let us know that you're enjoying the content being provided to you guys on this channel. Comment in the comment section below on what your favorite pops were for the month of June 2020. Press that subscribe button for more content like this podcast and other videos we do in the future. And press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. Also, if you haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you guys next week for our Back to the Future podcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Peace in and peace out.